everyone. Thank you. Welcome to a special one-time CCL training specifically focused on the Fall Virtual Conference and Lobby Days. So we're very glad to have you here tonight. I also want to take a moment to extend a special welcome to any of our first-time conference attendees. So if you're curious about what to expect when you attend CCL's virtual fall conference or lobby days, you found us in the right place right here. So before we get to the content, I wanted to introduce your presenters if you've not met us before. So I'm Alison Kubicsko. I'm CCL's National Events Director, and I started with CCL as an intern in 2015, and I joined the staff in 2017. My role in CCL is to organize CCL's national conferences, including our summer conference, our fall virtual conference that we're talking about tonight, and our conservative conference, as well as helping with CCL's monthly meetings. I'm originally from Long Island, New York, but now I live in Raleigh, North Carolina with my husband and our rescue dog, Starla. For the second half of the call, we will be joined by Mindy Ahler, who is CCL's Congressional Liaison Program Manager. So Mindy supports CCL's Congressional Liaison Program, holding calls, providing resources, and strategy guidance for those that are working with members of Congress and CCL. And of course, she makes sure that our lobby days go smoothly. So thanks so much for that, Mindy. It's a big job. Mindy's a lifelong Minnesotan, and she'll happily gush about the beauty of the state and all its outdoor recreation activities. She lives just outside Minneapolis with her CCL husband and their cat Pickles. So thanks for being here, Mindy. So during our time today, I will start off by talking about the conference portion of our event, and then I'll pass it to Mindy and she'll talk about Lobby Week. And as I said, we'll have plenty of time at the end for your questions. So feel free to drop those in the chat while you think of them so you don't forget them. And then we will go ahead and answer them at the end. So let's jump in. Our fall virtual conference is titled Sharper Than Ever, CCL's Next Chapter, and it's taking place next weekend, November 14th and 15th on Zoom. So if you've already registered for the event, that's great. You'll start to get reminders about the conference and how to log in. So if you haven't registered, I'd strongly suggest that you do. You can use the link in the chat, or you can go to cclusa.org/fall conference. So you can go ahead and get those important reminders ahead of the conference. You can pretty much find all the information that I'm sharing tonight from our conference webpage, so you can go check back there for more details. Again, that's cclusa.org/fall conference. So this is the overview of our conference. It will be Friday, November 14th and Saturday, November 15th. Friday, November 14th, we have a welcome reception that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. The main day of the conference is on Saturday, November 15th, and it starts at 1 p.m. and will go through 5 p.m. Eastern. When you register for the conference, all the activities on both Friday and Saturday are included. Of course, we know you are very busy people. We hope that you can join us for the whole event live, but whatever you're able to make, we are ecstatic that you're there. We are recording all the sessions on Saturday, so you can catch anything you missed a few days after the conference. We'll be posting the recordings on CCL's YouTube channel. And we know that a lot of the sessions at the conference will help folks prepare for lobby day, so we will do our best to try and get those recordings up as soon as possible so you can refer to them before you have your lobby meetings. Virtual Lobby Week, we're suggesting that folks schedule their meetings the week of November 17th to the 21st, and Mindy will talk more about that in just a little bit. So digging in a little bit about what to expect each day, as I said on Friday, we will have our welcome reception at 7 p.m. Eastern. And the reception is really fun. We just get a chance to connect with each other, have some fun before we jump into business on Saturday. We'll review a few last-minute logistics, learn a little bit about CCL action teams, and then we'll have breakout rooms depending on how you like to party. We'll have a trivia room, a game room, and a show and tell room. So that'll be a lot of fun. I know Ellie's on the line. She's going to help with the game room. So if you like playing games, you can meet Ellie there. So then the conference on the 15th, I'm excited to announce that we have some great speakers that will be joining us. First, we have Zian Sears. He's the legislative assistant for Representative Scott Peters, and he will join Jennifer Tyler for a fireside chat to discuss permitting reform and the Fix Our Forest Act. We'll also be joined by James Campbell, and he's from Megafire Action, and he will speak on the Fix Our Forest Act breakout session, along with Dana Nuccitelli, who is CCL's research manager. And finally, we have Sena Koleva, who will join a breakout session that focuses on CCL's relational advocacy, using moral foundations theory and behavioral science. So we're really excited and honored to have these esteemed folks join our conference, and I can't wait to hear from all of them. Here we have a bit of how the day will break down hour by hour. So we'll kick off at 1 p.m. with opening remarks by Ricky Bradley, CCL's interim executive director. He'll be discussing CCL's new strategy for 2026 and beyond. We have one keynote speaker that is still a mystery, so we will be announcing that soon. Again, go ahead and check back on our website. Once we have that person confirmed, we will put it up on the website, so that one is still a bit of a surprise. Then we have our legislative update section with our government affairs team, and we'll get a review of the ask for virtual lobbying, which Mindy is going to give us a little sneak peek of as well. And then we'll be joined by Zian, as I just mentioned, for that fireside chat with Jen Tyler. And then we have 4 breakout sessions that you can choose from. And then we will come back together for an awesome panel of volunteers, and they will discuss how they've built relationships with their members of Congress, and then we will wrap up for the day. So it's a really packed agenda. The breakout sessions that are at 3:10 Eastern, you'll have 4 choices. So these 4 sessions happen at the same time. So we have more carbon pricing updates from around the world. We have social media. We have a breakout session on Fix Our Forest Act, and then the breakout session on relational advocacy. So we'll have the descriptions of these breakouts on our webpage. And since they do happen at the same time, it might be a good idea to coordinate with other members in your chapter. Maybe you can figure out who can attend each breakout session, so then you have them all covered. And then maybe at your next chapter meeting, you can kind of report back to each other on what you learned. Of course, we'll have them recorded so you can watch them yourself, but it is kind of a fun thing that I've seen chapters do, that they, kind of report back to their chapter on what they learned and the tidbits they got from it. So this is a virtual conference, so here's just a few tech notes as you get prepared to join us on Zoom. We will be using Zoom video conferencing for the whole duration of the conference. You did make it here tonight, so I'm sure you're a bit practiced and comfortable with Zoom, so that's great. But make sure you have the latest version of Zoom downloaded to your computer before the conference to have the best experience. Each morning of the conference, little join via Zoom buttons will appear in the program section on the webpage. So it will be really easy for you to just go to the website and click those little buttons next to each session you want to attend, and it will just open Zoom right up for you. So I would go ahead and bookmark the conference webpage ahead of time, just so you can have it open on your computer and you can just easily click around. If you are active on social media, we would love to see your posts through the conference and lobby days. So be sure to follow CCL's accounts. We're at Citizens Climate on pretty much all of our social media accounts. So follow us on any platforms that you use and tag us in any of your posts around the conference and lobby day so that we can see them, and we may even repost your posts. We love to see what you're excited about during the conference. Maybe it's a quote from one of our speakers. Maybe it's a screenshot of your lobby team on Zoom. Whatever it is, we love to see it. So don't forget to tag us and use the hashtags for the conference, CCL 2025 and Grassroots Climate. And don't forget, we do have that breakout session about social media. So if social media is your thing or you want to learn more about it, definitely plan to attend that breakout session. So as I wrap up this section about the conference, I want to let you know what to expect next. So registered attendees should be on the lookout for reminder emails early next week, and that will include any last-minute logistics and especially the login information to access the conference and get you ready. A lot of chapters are organizing watch parties to experience the conference together. So I would double check with your group leader to see if they have a watch party planned and make sure that you attend. It's really nice to watch the conference together and you kind of react together and see how the conference sessions apply to the work you're doing in your chapter. So we'll take questions after Mindy's section, but if you have any questions, after this call, between now and the conference, please don't be shy and reach out to us at conference.inbox@citizensclimate.org, and I'll be happy to help you there. So now I will pass it over to Mindy to talk about our lobby days. Thanks, Mindy.
Let's see, Lobby Week. Lobby Week is one of my favorite times of year, and lucky for me, it gets to happen more than once. I personally think that it's really exciting. We meet with our members of Congress to move them up the ladder of support for climate action. And we do this by being prepared. We build a trusting relationship with our members of Congress and their staff. We listen, we meet them where they are with appreciation, gratitude, and respect. It's not hard, so don't be afraid to join a lobby team. And notice I said team. This is not something you do alone, but that is done in a group with other CCL volunteers. And I think that's one of the things I really enjoy about it. Tonight, I'll give you an overview of the process and point you to the more specific training you might need if you join a lobby team. And we now have a lobby meeting toolkit that puts all the information you need in one easy to navigate page. So I'll talk more about that in just a little bit. So we do have two distinct types of lobby events during the summer. We go to Washington, D.C. With our summer conference, and we meet in person with offices. And then our fall conference, we do virtually. So we meet via video conference. Once in a while, a meeting might be in person in a district office. But since we usually want to meet with the DC staff, we're meeting on video conference. And with our summer lobby meeting, they're limited to the people that are in DC since they happen in person. But our fall virtual lobby days gives us a lot more flexibility. Since they're held by video conference, it allows more people to participate without having to travel so far to a faraway location. And the meetings are also planned by members of the local chapter and those who participate in the lobby meetings. For Senate meetings that involve the entire state, the liaison may be in a different chapter than you are in another part of your state. And even though every member of Congress may have their preferred system for remote meetings, most use Zoom, or they ask us to set up the meeting and then we do it via Zoom. And it's really helpful for you to do a practice meeting with your team on Zoom ahead of time, even if they're going to use another platform, if you can get that. Otherwise, still just meeting on Zoom for a practice meeting makes all the difference. And one more thing about virtual lobbying, you'll notice that in all the slides, in all the photos on our slides, that we dress in professional attire for our in-person lobby meetings in DC. And we want you to do the same even for a virtual lobby meeting, because it demonstrates that we take the meeting seriously. It shows another level of preparation, and it helps us to look the part of a lobbyist, even though we are volunteer citizen lobbyists. We're currently in the process of requesting all these congressional meetings. We have over 160 of them, I think, at my last when I last checked. So we have lots of them already scheduled, but I'll talk more about that process next. So we set appointments. Generally, it is done by the Congressional Liaison. For those who aren't familiar with our liaison program, these are CCL volunteers who manage the relationship with their member of Congress. And they have a staff person usually that is their point of contact for direct communications and lobbying efforts. So essentially, everything that is done outside of our general calls to action. So we have lots of general calls to action where we ask all volunteers to contact the office. But this is when for any other kind of action, those are usually done by our liaisons. So if you're interested in becoming a liaison, please let us know, because we are always looking for more. But those liaisons or someone they may designate, once in a while they don't have the time to do it themselves, and someone else will be an appointment setter, but they are already working on those meetings, as I said. And they also are the ones who will assemble the lobby teams and create the meeting plan. But it's not too late to step up and ask to be a part of a lobby team if you aren't already. The main thing is that if you're not the liaison, please do not try to set an appointment. Instead, check with your chapter leader or your state coordinator or your regional or your network director, and they can direct you to the person who's planning the meeting. The meetings are usually set during the day, 9 to 5 approximately, Eastern time, that is, because most of the staff we're meeting with are in DC. And it is during that week of November 17th to 21st. We do have things can be a little bit flexible. Sometimes the meetings will change at the last minute. And if that happens, we just make it work for whatever team members can be there. And also because of the government shutdown, some of our meetings may get set into December. But surprisingly, so far, those 160 that we have set are all in the week of November 17th to the 21st. So like I said, the teams are set locally. And each lobby team may adjust the process a little bit to what works best for them and based on their knowledge of their member of Congress. But this lobby meeting toolkit is a great resource to help you navigate all the things that you need for planning your meeting. So many cases you might have already been talking about this during a chapter meeting. But if not, don't hesitate to ask because there still may be a lobby meeting already being planned. And like I said, check with your chapter leader, state coordinator, or network director if you don't know who's planning the meetings. We also have a meeting plan template. That's another item that's in that lobby meeting toolkit. And that helps us to solicit, discuss, and prioritize everyone's ideas for the meeting. And it gives the suggested a meeting agenda that helps in guiding the way that we do lobby meetings. Key items in that agenda are an appreciation, the primary ask, and then open-ended questions for discussion. The primary asks were discussed in trainings that we held on October 30th and November 3rd. And you can find links to those in the lobby meeting toolkit. When you scroll down a little bit, it has links to those trainings and the recordings are right there on those pages if you missed them. Teams usually do their final planning and practice on Zoom in the week before our lobby week. But we have lots of training to help you in preparing for lobbying. So also in that lobby toolkit, if you scroll down, if you're brand new and want to know more about how we do lobbying, you'll find more of our training on just lobbying in general, as in addition to the ones that tell you specifically which meeting or specifically what our asks are for this particular lobby meeting. And like I said, this is a team effort. So no one person needs to know everything about lobbying. And on the next slide, I'll again repeat the most important trainings for you for the fall lobby days. So we had two lobby trainings that are specific to the asks for this lobby week, for our fall lobby week. And we call them training 1 and training 2. In the first one, we went into depth around our primary asks. And then in the second one, we reviewed that, but also talked a little more about how you use that information in planning your meeting. And then also had plenty of time for questions. And that Q&A time is also included with the recordings. It's in a separate recording, but you can listen to questions that other people may have had. And the one training that we do require for all of our volunteers is the climate advocate training. We just did a live version of that last Sunday, but the recording of it is available to you on that link, the cclusa.org/CAT, which stands for our climate advocate training. So I want to just, like I said, in our training, we've already covered our lobbying asks. But I just want to give you a quick overview of what those are. So we have separate asks depending on whether it is a Democratic member of Congress or a Republican member of Congress. So for the Democrats, whether they're in the House or the Senate, we'll be talking about permitting reform and the Fix Our Forest Act. For Republicans, if they're in the Senate, we will also be talking about permitting reform and the Fix Our Forest Act. But if it's a Republican in the House, since all Republicans in the House voted in favor of Fix Our Forests the first time, We have a special item instead for them, the Foreign Pollution Fee Act, that we'd like to get a little more attention around just with Republicans. So though with Republicans in the House, we'll be talking about permitting reform and the foreign pollution fee.
All right, well, I think we'll start to wrap it up. Mindy did put a link in the chat for you to log your trainings. We want to make sure you get credit for being here. But we really do appreciate everyone joining us. And of course, if you have any more questions before the conference, during lobby week, anytime, please reach out to us. We're happy to help. And we really look forward to seeing you at the conference and during lobby week. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Citizens Climate Lobby's training program. You can tune into more episodes anywhere podcasts are available. Inspired by what you heard today? Join Citizens Climate Lobby to advocate for bipartisan climate solutions. Go to community.citizensclimate.org to find more trainings, resources, your local chapter, national action teams, discussion forums, and more. Be sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and Instagram @CitizensClimate. We also invite all of our listeners to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiration.
Like what you hear? Recommend us to your friends and make sure to give us a 5-star rating. It helps us show up on other listeners' feeds. Feel free to pass on any suggestions for future episodes in the comments as well.
And together, we are creating the political will for a livable world.